What's up guys and welcome to the Moody channel. Today we're going to take a look at the most tactical fight in Sanctum of Domination. It goes by many names. The Pug Killer, the LFR Trolling Time, the Fall Guys, and by his true name, Painsmith Raznal. Let's check him out. In this fight, there's a main phase and an intermission phase. In the main phase, you'll fight boss only and handle his mechanics. This fight is a tactical fight where you will eventually see many different ways to tackle these mechanics. In the main phase, boss will have 3 different weapons per time based on his health. The weapons determine what kind of pattern we will get on the platform when it comes to the spikes. Also, the boss spawns balls, traps, and shackles. During intermission, the boss will jump out of the platform and forge a new weapon, while the raid has to dodge waves of spikes and handle adds. We're gonna take a look at each one of these mechanics and how to handle them. We start with positioning. Have one marker on the top left corner. Tank the boss on the upper right corner. Range spread out, and melee behind the boss. When it comes to heroic mode, you will have 4 markers instead. Start with putting one marker on the top left corner, and then 3 squares diagonally from that marker you place the next one, which is diamond here. 3 squares diagonally from that is the nipple, and 3 squares diagonally from that is the green marker. These markers are very important for later on when it comes to the tank mechanic and also when it comes to traps on heroic mode. Instrument of Pain. The boss will target the main tank with 1 out of 3 weapons and then he will throw it at them after 6 seconds. Based on the boss health, he will have different type of weapons. At 100% health, he'll have an axe. At 70% health, he'll have a hammer, and at 40% health, he'll have a scythe. When the boss reaches 70 and 40% health, he will leave the platform and start forging the new weapon and then jumps down with the hammer, or later on he jumps down with the scythe. When he forges the weapon, that's when the intermission happens. All 3 weapons has one thing in common. After the boss targets the tank and then throws it after 6 seconds, it will do damage on the tank and also on the raid. This leaves a debuff on the tank, leading to damage taken by 200% for 30 seconds, and it also stacks. The actual difference between the weapons is what happens afterwards when the tank gets hit. Spikes will spawn on the platform in different patterns based on what weapon it is. The axe will spawn lines of spikes in 4 directions from the tank position and move outwards. The hammer will spawn spikes in 4 straight lines instead. The scythe is a combo between both of them, so you will have the squares and also the straight lines. So the tactics for this is, when the boss targets the tank and about to throw the weapon, the tank will run to the corner. You tank swap. You will see that the spikes are moving 1 square per time. So when it passes through the players, just stand on 1 square. And when the spikes are next to you, you just move 1 square. You don't need to move far away. Same thing with the hammer. The tank runs to the corner, you tank swap, and this time you get spiked lines on the edges, so stay away from the edges. And when it comes to scythe on 40% health, then you also move to the top right corner, and you must stand away from the edges and also dodge the spiked lines. Spiked balls. The boss will spawn a line full of spiked balls. They will move from one side to the other. Getting hit does really high damage and an 8-second stun. These balls can start from any side of the platform, not only from one side. So the tactics for this is, mark the middle ball with a skull and focus nuke it. Once you nuked it, the entire raid passes through. Some classes can actually pass the ball abilities. For example, mages can blink. I saw even a demon hunter jump out of the platform and then he flew back into the platform again and dodged the balls. Shadowsteel Chains. The boss will target several players with a chain circle around them. This will do moderate fire damage every 1 second for 20 seconds. Also, if a shackled player comes close to another player, it will do high physical damage and a knockback. So the tactics for this is, stay spread when shackled. A very important keynote here is that the chain circle can overlap with spiked balls. Therefore, it's very important that the shackled players must move further back and wait until a spiked ball is broken and non-shackled player pass first before the shackled ones. Shackled players must have patience and wait until they can pass. Flameclasp Trap. This ability comes on heroic mode. Up to 4 players are marked with an arrow on their head. After 8 seconds, they'll drop a swirl on the platform. This swirl is the trap. If the trap detonates, it will do 10k fire damage to all players and increase trap damage taken by 200% for 1.5 seconds. The traps will detonate if a player steps on it, or a spike hits it, or a spiked balls run over it. So the tactics for this is, you need at least a 2-second window between two traps, between they detonate, because after the first detonation you'll get a debuff that increased 200% increased damage for 1.5 seconds. Also, you need a window between these two detonations for healers to be able to heal up the raid as well before the next trap hits. And this is how you do it. Have 4 markers on the platform. The first one will be on the top left corner, the same corner as a tank has with the debuff. Place a second marker 3 squares diagonally between them where the diamond is. Then the third marker will be 3 squares diagonally from the diamond, and the last marker will be on the bottom corner. The marked players will run and stand on each marker. This way, if it is the spikes from the tank, then you'll get a 3-second window between each trap broken. The debuff will be gone before the next trap and the healers have time to heal up. It is important that the tank runs to the correct corner. If the tank runs to the top right corner, you will instead get 2 traps detonated at the same time. When it comes to the spiked balls, they move 1 second per square. So here, you'll get a 3 to 4 second between each detonation. The debuff will be gone before the next trap and the healers have time to heal up. As mentioned earlier, the spiked balls can start from any direction. No matter where they will start, you will always get a nice window of healing the raid and the debuff is gone. Last one up is the intermission. The boss leaps away from the platform and forges a new weapon to the fight. This happens when the boss has 7% health and 40% health. Waves of lines of spikes will pass through the platform for 50 seconds. As you can see, there is always an opening somewhere on each wave. You'll also see small red swirls spawn on random locations. An ad will land there called the Shadowsteel Ember, and they'll attack the raid. Also in this phase, every player will get a permanent stack of a debuff called Black Flame. This does fire damage every 1 second. So the tactics for this is, tanks will pick up the ads and raid will nuke the ads while dodging the line of spikes. Run through the opening from each wave and use speed increase if needed. Healers, beware of the extra raid damage that increases during the fight. And there we go. A lot of tactics on that one. The most tactical fight in entirely Sanctum Domination, I must say. I really hope that this guide helped you out, guys, in your guild, in your pug, whatever you're gonna do. If you like this video, please hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe, hit that little bell so you see when I come up next time, and also stay 10 more seconds and I'll show you something funny from the raid. Until next time.